Hi, Frank. Did you have a good day outside? Did you? Did you have a good day outside? It was fun, huh? With your new setup? Watching me some garden answer. Love her. She's awesome. Well, all of them. Okay, where was I going? Before I go outside and show the rest of the yard, I came in and took a break. Here are the plants, the bulbs that I put out there. Peruvian daffodil. Isn't that so nice? I wish the damn camera would not refocus. I don't know why it's doing that. I never said I was a professional, okay? I mean, I am a professional, but not at this. So that's gorgeous. Got some Lily of the Valley. Oh, there were 3 plants in there. There were. I just thought I got a bonus, but nope, there were 3 because there was supposed to be. And this one, I was so surprised when I found this. So I got those planted in the front by these 2 planted under the golden chain tree, and these planted along the fence where I want that flower bed to start. Now let's go out and see. We just finished looking at, hold on, that area over there. So I'm going to start right here and we're going to show the rest. It's going to be fun. Yeah, so I've been working on this yard. We moved in November of 2023. And you can see from this position, I'm standing on my back porch. So we walked over there and how it looks. So we have the one flower bed here, the other there, the trenches, the trench that's not filled with mulch, this flower bed here, my gravel, the jasmine plant, the maple plant, and then here I have the vinca growing. Decided to put some of my heavier stuff on the back porch. So I got Christmas lights. I'd like to get that flattened out really nice and then put like 4 pallets there and a little shed on top. Just a really small shed that could fit, most of these little tools. That would be really great. So I planted 3 of these vinca plants. It's vinca major. Oh, I have a splinter. Periwinkle. Vinca major. So these will get pretty big and they will do a beautiful job of erosion control here. Oh, can you see it? No, because it's not focusing. Whatever. I got plants galore. That's a something. Those are some things that I planted up here when I was doing these. They're flowers. Eventually I'll pull them out, and eventually I will pull out all of this red clover and transplant it, but I'm just going to let it go for a minute. And I've got tons of these popping up everywhere. These are invasive butterfly bush. So I usually just pop those out when I see them. Ooh, 2 more. Wow, that one's been growing for a minute. So I got that one and that one. Otherwise, I'll let the rest of the stuff stay. Yeah. So I just transplanted this clover bunch right here. I figure we can have some clover and some vinca. I just put this in, just covering. There's another one and a third. Those will grow so crazy. You'll see. I'll do more tours. And then my vision is that can be the vernal pool that it is. Beautiful willow right there. Birch tree right there. The clump. This is a weeping Alaska cedar. a coppiced. We had it coppiced, so it kind of stays at that height right there, because it was all the way up there was where all the bulk of the leaves were and everything. So I had them cut it to about 12 feet. That's probably more like 16. Yeah, I think that's probably more like 16, but it just fills in really nicely right there. That is a willow tree. And I have this as a little wildlife bed, so I have lots and lots of logs surrounding it in like an eye shape. So it goes a point here, all the way around to a point there, and then up and behind this stump that's deteriorating, not the one that's further back, and back down. And I will show you that. This is the main garden bed. It has leaves that I went and picked up last fall. I just went around town and just picked up the leaves into contractor bags. It also has a ton of old soil from different pots. It has the clay soil that I dug out from this area, and also I dug a trench all the way around it. So there is a trench all the way around this to catch and hold water and allow it to soak underneath. And then, of course, the horse manure and bedding mixture. So that is like fertile land right there. So I wanted to give you just that little once over from this position. And kind of my vision is I was going to do garden beds all over here and then lawn over there, but I decided I'm going to have the lawn in the front and mostly gardening all in the back, because the front I really can't garden that much because it will attract the deer. But if they're not even interested in coming back, then I'll have better opportunity to garden back here. Okay, so we left off right here. So I'm going to walk back over there and we'll work our way down here. But we have these lupines. I shoved them in the ground as little seedlings last year, and they're coming back quite nice. That is literally clay, rock, and weeds. I didn't put any special soil, nothing. I literally just dug the horrible soil that had no drainage from there, plopped it right here, put some wood around it, and stuck those plants in there. I did the same with this, and I barely even dug the plants in, honestly. I pretty much just stuck them on there and threw a bunch of dead grass over the top. Grass clippings. And I've already explained this, but it's the same thing I did here. And then I have all of these juncus grasses that I'm letting grow because they are, ooh, someone's not liking me coming over here. Ooh, shiver me timbers. That was scary. Scary back here. What was I saying? I got all sorts of scared just now. That one was not happy with me. Look, I have a beautiful tree growing right here. Two, here's another. This tree is totally rooted. And here's another, totally rooted from putting branches of that into the ground. So this right here is basically what it looks like under all of that mulch. Because for permaculture, I want to catch and hold as much water as possible. Which basically I did not have to water my garden barely at all last year. And it's only going to get better from here. When it gets hot, I'm very unlikely to have to water very much because of the way that I'm practically like bottom watering on a huge scale. So right here, where this purple dead nettle is, last year was a wasp nest. They were black and white wasps, and it looks like they made a perfect home for this. And apparently this is a herb. I have a lot of that stinky bob. There's a feverfew there. And then here I have another willow tree, 3 other willow trees, and then this, whatever that is, that white plant there. Tons of willow trees growing down here. They might not all make it. I'm just letting them grow, and we'll see. I might be able to harvest them and make like a line of them along the back at some point. But for now, I'm just letting them grow where they're at. In here I have, these are flowers. These are flower seeds of some type. And then I have this. This is, I don't know, I think this one might be not one that I want. I'm not sure. Anyway. So yeah, I have definite flowers in here, and so I can't wait to show you. But I have a lot of that purple dead nettle, and the plants, or the bees, are loving those right now. That's the bulk of what I have for them to eat. The gardener snakes really love this, and last year I just let everything grow. This is really walkable. I'm standing on it now. So I'm going to turn. Essentially, it stops there where it's walkable, and then there's like a little trench that goes all the way around this. And this is literally just a hole. There's really no dirt in there. I dumped some old plants upside down in there, and I literally plopped this magnolia, the entire root ball, in the hole, and just threw a whole bunch of the grass, big chunks of grass that I ripped out from somewhere to like protect the roots. So, and it's been like that for 8 or 9 months, and she is a bloomin', growing. There's another part of the trench, so the trench goes all the way around this whole thing. I figure having that magnolia right there will be really pretty, because it actually is going to get about 12 feet tall. Very pretty. And then having like a nice little path right here to where I can look at all the different garden areas. The chickadees just adore. They just adore that tree. I would too. It's very safe. And I have the birdhouse that Aiden made me, and a birdhouse that we bought. And then, of course, my wind chime, which is really nice. But I don't know if you'll be able to see because my camera is not so great. But we have a sweet little chickadee right there. I'm so happy that the bird watching is starting to work out. And I found 2 frogs today. Here's a burdock. I let all the burdock grow. I only cut invasives. I think that stinky bob plant is invasive. There's another burdock. But I just don't have it in me right now to dig those stinky bobs out. I'm just leaving them for now. In the summertime, I just fill these. I fill shallow dishes with a bit of water if it gets really hot. You can see all of these pods right here. These are radish pods. I love the pods. And it looks like they might have self-sown. You can see deep in there. And then we have the burdock, but I am going to pull this because that is another one of those invasive buddleias. Don't grow the buddleias around here, people. The butterfly bushes, unless it says they're sterile. But yeah, I have tons of plants in here, seeds in here. You're going to be amazed. It looks like nothing right now, but you guys are going to be amazed in a few weeks. I got a tree here. Look. They love it. They love this tree so much. Yep. Now, I have another feverfew here. And I want to talk, oh, look, all sorts of, these are things that I planted. That's a creeping buttercup there. I leave the creeping buttercup. Here's a bigger one. It does good work. It does very good work. But yeah, so I'll clean like that dish out most likely. And I have 2 in here and then 2 in the other. And I just put them in a shady spot and add water whenever it gets really hot out. But this is my wildlife habitat. I also throw food scraps in here. There's like an eggshell and stuff like that, and a peach pit. I also throw food scraps in that one. So there was potatoes that was growing last year. I threw a bunch of potatoes that had gone bad and everything. And I could essentially rip off some of these bigger ones and stick them in the ground if I didn't want to wait for those other ones to grow. Now, in here, this is trailing blackberry. And look, I'm going to have tons of berries in here. Now, I had to fight the Himalayan blackberry to get the trailing blackberry to have a chance. So I basically did the same system where in the spring, I just watched for Himalayan blackberry sprouts and I cut them and cut them and cut them. And now I have a whole bed filled with Washington native trailing blackberry and all sorts of buds. Look, I'm going to have hundreds, maybe thousands of berries just growing all over this. And for me, it's for the wildlife. I probably won't pick them and eat them. Now, right here, I found a tree frog during my live. And couldn't quite get a picture of it. I'd love to do this little fire pit area. I would love to have like a nice walkway. So that trench, or maybe turn this one into a walkway and then make like a little concrete patio with like those big square like flat brick thingies, and just make like this whole area be like a little hangout spot to where you can really see the garden and do fires and stuff, and then have like a nice dirt trail from where I'm walking, because it complies with all the rules. Like there's nothing above it and all of that to do fires. Now, here's the other water dish that I use for the snakes. Usually the snakes really love this. But back here I have, this is a fern that I grew for a long time. And look, brand new growth. It's coming back. Yes. Yep. So I'm very excited about that. Fern is doing well. And I don't see any Himalayan blackberry. So that's a really good sign. I have columbine here. I can't wait for the flowers. I have all sorts. I have columbines. I have sweet peas. Let's get up close with this birch. So, this river birch is doing amazing. And it's grown so much. I love like the positioning of the 4 trees. And there is Irish moss that I grew, and it's looking really good there. And over there I have an arborvitae, but look, a strawberry plant. So I'm just leaving this area as is for now. I'm not ready to tackle it, but it's safe from the deer. The deer aren't really that interested in that area because I did all of this to deter them. So basically they don't think anything's good there because this whole time they've been rooting around, they've just been getting a mouthful of wood or wire. I believe hungry deer have investigated this one a while back and knocked this one over. So I took further measures and so far haven't seen any more issues. This is where the tree frog was hopping to. So many trees. These are all trees. Some of them are not walnut, but they're a good tree, not a bad tree, not something bad. And here, oh, I thought that was a what the hell do you call it? It is bracken fern. Pretty much got almost all of them gone. They were covering this property, the bracken ferns. So here's another view of my vernal pool. The ecosystem in it is just doing fantastic. I'm seeing like algae, I'm seeing grasses grow. I'm very happy with that because it was pretty toxic and totally broken and dry and wasn't, yeah. So anyway, a year and it's doing really good. So back here, I let all of these weeds take over. And here we have another bracken fern. So I'll just pluck that part. Here's another and another. Yeah. So I did a lot more work in the front last year. Those are definitely flowers, probably calendula. Look at all these bracken ferns. So all I do is just pluck the green part. They can't feed themselves if they don't have that part. So I'll probably have to get, here's another one. I'll just step on it, crush it. Here's another. Yeah. So I haven't really put any work into this area, but yeah, so you can see all I have to do is just pluck them. They'll be fine. They won't grow if they don't have the tops. It'll weaken the plants. Yeah, I got a lot to do back here. All right, I got those. I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm not doing that right now. Okay, so here's the other side of the wildlife area. You can see the bird trees, or bird houses. And I had the tree people cut them all right up there, see? And so now the branches are going to grow like that. I'm almost thinking I might have them come back and cut them even further to where I can maintain it, because I can't really maintain even at that height. But there's definitely plenty of wildlife in here. So here's another bracken fern. Here's another. So I got rid of the ones in the front, but you can see a ton of weeds and bracken ferns back here. So let me see if I can show you. So I'm gonna just pop them. Pop them. Yep. I'd rather have my scissors. Usually what I do is I just cut them. Yeah, I usually just cut them. You can bruise them like this. You can just step on them. But I don't just weed a whole area, right? Because I want the thistles, the dandelions. Oh, look at all these bracken ferns. Yeah, these are no good. So you can just bend them right in half. So what I'm doing with my foot, I can show you, is I'm just breaking them. Just like that. Damn, there's so many. Anyway, you don't want those. Now I'm getting sidetracked. I just stomp on them. I believe this looks like a Himalayan blackberry. You can tell the difference. It's a bigger leaf and it has the red tinge. See? So I'm going to pluck that bad boy right out. Pluck. Here's another. Pluck. And I mostly just get them when they're young, and that gives room for the ones that I want to grow. This is something I planted, and I'm very excited. Can't remember what I planted, but I know that's something I planted there. Yeah, so far so good. Crush those. Okay, so here's the second wildlife area covered in trailing blackberries. So I'm going to have trailing blackberries here, trailing blackberries there. I'll probably be able to pluck them or pick them. Ooh, another bracken fern. You've got to be kidding me. And I just broke it. There we go. That is definitely a Himalayan blackberry right there. See? You can tell the difference. Bigger leaves and the tinge of red. You don't want those, I tell you. So I'll just pluck it out. They're especially easy to pull out when they're coming up through something like this because they've had to stretch. Another thistle. Very happy about that. Okay. This was a hole. This was like a really deep hole here. So I just threw a bunch of garden debris and I'm building it up. It's doing good. This used to be a deer trail back here. You can kind of tell right there. The deer would come back here and look, they would devour my... They said that this is deer proof or deer, whatever you want to call it. What is that called? Damn it, I can't remember what it's called. It's an evergreen plant. But you can clearly see that the deer were getting in there and eating all the new growth. So I took further measures, and so far they haven't gotten to it again. Annoying little shits is what they are. More bracken ferns, more Himalayan blackberry. And look, this apple tree. I hacked this apple tree myself. So we'll see if I have a bunch of apple trees growing from there. We're going to go this way. Yeah, look. All apple trees. These are all apple trees from that. Here's another. Yep, I'm very excited about that. I haven't done a lot of work on this side of the property. I've mostly been working over there. But me and Aiden and Alex raked this out and kind of got all the big stuff and seeded it with grass and clover. And as you can see, it really didn't take. There's tons of clover, which I'm very happy about. These are invasive as well. And they do, I can't remember what they're called, but they do the Cinnabar moths. So here's another blackberry. That's a Himalayan. You can tell. Where is it? It's got the red on the outside. So I might just pluck that right. Pop that top off. Okay. Here's another. Yeah, I got a lot of work to do back here. It's been slow. But anyway, I took 2. Ooh, I'm being circled. Someone doesn't like me here. A bee. Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, I stuck this just in the ground, and that area in the ground was really nice and soft, so I could stick it in really far. So I took 2. Those will root. They don't have roots yet. I did that like yesterday or the day before. Here I have, what do you call that? Bugleweed. I'm so excited about that. I want that one to spread, and then I can put it wherever I want. Here's another bracken fern. I'm just gonna break it. I kid you not. I kid you not. I literally dug out bags of garbage from this hole. And I did it. I did the job. And then I sprinkled wildflower seeds in there. Look at that big thistle. I love the thistles. I'm leaving them. Sorry. And look at that. That's not a burdock. Another. That's a good plant right there. Oh my gosh, look at all these bracken ferns. Dang. But you see that it's the season for them to be growing. And there's none in my front yard. So this method, it works. I'm going to break these real quick at the base. There. The method works. That's what I did last spring at this time, and you saw in the front yard, none. Now, I'm really excited about this. Look at my, oh, what the hell is that called? Purple dragon. I'll have to put the name on the, but anyway, that's growing and spreading. But yeah, so here's proof. This is what my front yard looked like. But none are growing because I did this last year up there. And now I'm doing it up here. So look at that hole. Definitely something's living in there. That's good. That's what I want. I'll get at it later. Now look, this is so soggy. So soggy. And you see all of the creeping buttercup. It's doing its job. I will not fight against nature. That creeping buttercup is doing its job right there because this area is saturated. So it's doing good work. And then I just put this deep into the ground. Well, not deep, but into my little stash there. And look, it's the same as that. So how pretty will that be on either side of my property? But yeah, this is deep and saturated. There's another burdock. So that is basically this area. I'm just going to leave you with this. I'm going to do the fishing line and start to throw seeds over here to start building up the soil. I have plenty of clover growing, which is fabulous. I mean, tons of clover. But I don't know if I want this to be lawn or garden yet. I'm thinking garden. So that's my permaculture backyard. It's very soft here when I step. Like, very, very soft. There's not really any structure. It's been a lot of labor. You know, I'm just one person. I did all of this. It was nothing. It was just hard, compacted clay with nothing growing when we moved in November of 2023. And I got to work. And now I'm watching it develop.